Welcome, everyone, to episode 20 of Rules of the Arena. This episode is brought to you by Blind Ninja Studios, where you can find this show and others such as Department of Fence, show with no purpose and hosted by experts on nothing, Homebrew Brown, a show dedicated to helping you make the best beer possible, and Soundwave, hosted by Matt and Carlos, keeping you up to date on all things music. Last but not least, Legends of Lothos, now into its second season for anyone like me that plays D&D. And this is also brought to you by Duck Hill Workshop, a small-scale sawmill and builders of fine furniture. You can find them online at duckhillworkshop.com, Duck Hill Workshop on YouTube, where you can watch a series In the Shop with Ben and Glenn, and make sure to follow their work on Instagram at Duck Hill Workshop. We're back this week in the studio with my co-host. Ben couldn't make it, so standing in for him is our celebrity sandwich maker from episode 16, Brian.
Oh, man.
From Hot Barrel.
Dude, that is...
I don't know how I lucked out that there's Bit Mad Bakery stuff sitting in front of me once again.
Did you bring sandwich fixins? Or?
I had no idea. I mean, we could put a cookie between these cheese buns here, man. Make it a nice cookie sandwich.
Yeah,
I'd eat that sandwich.
I am not ashamed to say I would too, my friend.
And also my producer, Casey.
Oh, hey, that's me.
Yeah.
That was the other dude talking, yeah.
And in studio with us is Eric. How's it going?
What's up, guys?
And coming from us from in the future, it's morning. Paul is Skyped into us via. Where are you from? India now?
Yep, India.
Thanks for coming in, guys. Tonight.
Also, he has the bird's eye view, so he's just like looking down on us like God. Like,
thanks for coming down to the studio tonight, and thanks for calling in for us. Just kind of introduce yourselves a little bit to the listeners.
Yeah, we're a band from Minneapolis called The Connection. It's actually spelled The Connection, like CONNEC space ION, just not to get that confused.
Not the conic ion.
Not the conic ion.
I mean,
no.
if you're just going to lay it out there, that's what it looks like. But
That's exactly what it looks like.
That's what I thought it was for several weeks until I saw the pronunciation on Facebook.
Yeah.
could Carlos yell any louder? Up
I
there?
don't think he could.
But yeah, we're a Minneapolis-based band, and just trying to spread our music around.
There's kind of some neat sounds coming from you.
Yeah, right.
What was that?
That's
Rush hour
That's
in
in Paul's
India.
world.
Yeah, Paul, introduce yourself to everybody listening at home.
Yeah, I'm Paul, and I'm from India, and then I met Eric when I was in Minnesota because I go to school over
Yeah,
there.
we went to college
and
together,
then we kind of
Northwestern.
started this thing, so here we are.
You know,
Yeah.
there's like other states that don't get cold during the school year that you could have gone to, right?
True, that is true.
Yeah, we joke
It's like
about
way
that.
hotter over here than over
Why
there,
would
to
you
be
be
honest.
here?
It's like completely opposite.
So what drew you to music, versus, every other art platform that there is?
For me, growing up, going to church every week, listening to the music there, listening to the worship team. Like when you're a little kid going to church and going to church camps and stuff, and you see the guys on the worship team playing electric guitar and singing, and it's like your older cousins and stuff, you want to be just like them. So that's what really drew me to it.
Absolutely.
What about for you, Paul?
Yeah, for me, it's kind of like the same too. Like growing up, basically all of my family, like all of them are singers and stuff, and my dad's like a songwriter too. So I was growing up in church. There was like music definitely around. So I would say like literally all my life there was music around. So it definitely inspired me to play music and also sing and stuff. So hopefully someday I will write. But right now I'm just singing and playing guitar. So yeah.
And where did you come up with the name, and what made you want to start the band in the first place?
I came up with the name in high school, and then it didn't actually become a thing until a few years ago, like my junior year in college. But I first thought of the name like The Connection, like how music is a way we can connect with people. In our faith, like I feel like it's a way we can connect with God, because I mean that's like how we worship. That's one form of worship for us. But you can like see in the name, it's kind of like a play on words a little bit. Like the T is gone because like the connection isn't perfect with people or with God. It's it's not perfect. So Our music, I feel like, expresses that a little bit of going through struggles in life. Like, we're not having perfect relationships with people, and I feel like that's something we can all connect with. So that's kind of where it came from.
And whose idea was it to start the band?
I guess you could say it's mine, but it kind of just happened. I mean, we met at Northwestern the very first day of school. We were going to orientation, and I just walk in the front doors, go down the hall, hop in the elevator. Paul's right there, the very first person I ever met at the school. It's just like so cool how it all happened, and then here we are now. Like, we were just buddies ever since then, and started jamming, and found out like we each played guitar, and it just went on from there.
And how long have you, well, Paul, how long have you been playing guitar? Or how long have you been involved in music for that?
Paul, you still there?
He's a frozen
Yeah.
face. Oh, there we go.
Paul, did you hear that last question?
He's still kind of a frozen face. Hang on. At least now I know what he looks like.
Paul, did you hear that last question?
No, I did not.
How long have you been involved in music?
So, well, I was playing in church, and I was just playing drums. I was not playing guitar. I went to some classes for guitar lessons, and then I did not take the test because I was like, Dad, I'm never going to play guitar in my life because I don't see it taking me anywhere.
What age
And
were
then
you?
what age was that?
Yeah.
That was like right before. That was in 2014, so that was like 4-5 years ago. And then I came to Minnesota, started hanging out with Eric, and then I bought a guitar, and it was just like, now I can just play like songs like so many different ways. So yeah.
And are you two doing this full time, or are you working a job? Right? You said you're going to school.
No, I graduated school. I actually just like quit my job a couple weeks ago. I was working at Culver's.
Sure.
So at the moment, I'm like looking for a new job. I really want to like start my career now that I'm graduated. And
I have a very important question.
yeah, go
Does
for
a
it.
better brand of beef make a butter burger better?
It 100% does.
Wow, I like his conviction.
What do you guys think about? What do you guys think about Culver's? I love it.
I
man.
honestly haven't had a Culver's burger in
Yeah, it's
years.
been a while. Now I'll
butter
make it
burger.
I'll
Yeah.
make it a point.
Right. Well, and they
Yeah.
just opened one here in town. We can go right after the show.
Why not?
Wait, here in River Falls?
Yeah.
Well, alrighty then.
Really?
Yeah, there's one right on Main Street.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, it's where the Perkins used to be.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Nice.
See, I move up north and everything changes on me.
Yeah.
Now you just released your second EP, and what was it like putting that first one together?
The first one was while we were going to college. 2 of the songs I made completely in the dorm, and during my junior year of college, I think. And then one of the songs I had made in high school and kind of like redid everything that same year to release it. So it was over like a really long period of time, just trying to put everything together myself. Takes a long time when you're trying to record everything yourself, master everything yourself, do each instrument yourself, learn how to like put everything together, all the different volumes of each track. It took a really long time.
Where did you like find any online tools for that, or did
Oh,
you just kind of wing it
yeah.
yourself?
I started out with GarageBand when I was in high school, and then later on I got Logic. And for those of you that don't know, that's basically GarageBand on steroids. It's the more professional one, and yeah,
Paul
just learned as I went.
Was Paul just kind of sitting there in the corner laughing at you the whole time you were struggling, or where was he during this?
He was down the hall, and I kind of just like called him when I wanted to hear his opinion about something, or when I wanted him to play his guitar and I could record him, or something like that.
Looking back on it now with 2 under your belt, I mean, what were some of the biggest challenges that you had to come over? Besides the learning curve, putting that first one together.
Biggest challenges, I would say setting aside time and just like doing it. While I was going to school, I mean, you're so busy with classes, and I was working at that time too. So, I mean, if I could go back and do it again, I would like purposely set aside a lot more time to just like try and get it done. Like the really the only thing that was really stopping me from like getting it going was kind of like me the whole time. Like you have to just like really set aside your time and to get it done. So.
And
Yeah.
on this, putting the second one together, have you found it to be easier or
No.
new challenges?
Not at all.
Paul's still not helping out.
Well, he's on the other side of the world right now. So no.
No excuse, damn it.
The second time around, I'm trying to think how it's different. The second time around may have been easier because I was only working at Culver's. I wasn't going to school at that time, and I had learned a lot more about Logic and how to record, and I had my own place with Alex at that time, so I kind of like had my own little studio. So I think it was a little bit easier. I didn't have to wait for the roommates to get out of the room so I could start singing, you know,
But you
because it's
wanna have-
weird to just like sing and record and stuff with them next to you and yell and stuff. So it was a little bit easier.
Weird
the second
traffic
time
noise
around.
in the background.
Yeah.
Now, what's your process like of writing a song? I mean, how do you go about in choosing which ones you want to release on your EP, or if you put an album together?
As far as choosing which ones go on it, I kind of ask Alex and I just like show family, and they'll kind of tell me which ones are the best. Sometimes you can't always trust them because they're your family, you know. Maybe you know a little bit about that.
Boy, do I ever. It's, you know, and I'm a professional brewer too, and so yeah, I mean, you peddle your wares, and people are like, oh, that's just so great,
Yeah.
you're my son, and you know,
It's the
You can
greatest
do
thing
no
ever.
wrong, Ryan. You can do no wrong.
I don't know, my mom would go that far.
All I heard for the first 10 episodes from my mom is criticism on this podcast.
Yeah, but that's because your mom knows you.
It's making up for the gray hair I put on her head. Like we said, you just released your second EP titled Let's Talk. Where did you come up with the name for that?
Actually, Alex came up with that. I think I was just like throwing around ideas, and then she said, "Oh, I really like this one," and that's one that I came up with. So I actually just came up with it after I had already finished a couple of the songs, and the songs were like really kind of, I guess you could say, things that you don't generally talk about. Kind of like if you're friends with your buddy and you, I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain, but one of the songs is about passive aggressive people.
So
And
Minnesota.
so if you're yeah, Minnesota, exactly. Minnesota, nice. So it's called Let's Talk because it's really like purposefully trying to talk about like the problems that nobody talks about, if that makes sense. Yeah. Kind of the problems people just brush over and are really annoyed with, but they don't want to say anything because they don't want to be that person. It's like, it's about that stuff.
Sure. And yeah, I've been trying to, listening to the last two EPs leading up to this tonight. Been trying to think of, I was originally kind of thinking introducing the band, here's the band, and this is the style, blah, blah, blah. And I haven't really found a good, title to put you under. I mean, how would you describe your
neither.
style?
Me neither, man. That's why I always just say alternative, because it doesn't really mean this or that. It's just alternative.
Yeah, honestly, what little I listen to, that's about what I would expect. You could be across a few different. And I legitimately only listen to like about 30 seconds of it, but from what I heard, it could go across a few different platforms.
Maybe a better way to approach it is, who would you consider your biggest influences?
We really like John Bellion. Have you guys ever heard of him? No, John Bellion. 21 Pilots.
Oh, really?
Okay. Yeah, we love 21 Pilots. The 1975. We also really like John Mayer.
Yeah, sure. Makes sense.
Yeah, a lot of those guys. I really like XXX Tentacion lately too, and he kind of does a little bit of everything. I don't know if you guys have listened to him, but yeah.
Now I'll make it a point to.
We have a music show on our network.
Yep.
And I'm not part of it. So
No, I think the last record that Casey put on, and he does have some records.
I had some
other than-
Charlie Daniels that I was playing before the show.
Yeah, that, and then there was
Rush.
you had what was it, an Elvis Hula record or something?
Yeah, Aloha from Hawaii.
Yep. It's a solid album. All right, we listened to both sides one night.
We did.
I've been on a bluegrass kick, and it's like going into a metal show, I'll be listening to bluegrass, and then going to a bluegrass show, I've been listening to metal. So it works out in the end.
I think there's this new wave of artists right now that are kind of like crossing the lines between genres. So, like 21 Pilots, they're doing like rap and a little bit of like screamo type stuff in their songs too, but mixed with like a really catchy pop melody too. So, I guess we're kind of going that route and kind of mixing and blending different genres.
And I've been seeing that more. Like I was just looking at a metal festival, Knotfest, out in, I think it's in California or Japan this year, but it's 20 metal bands, Tech Nine, and then a bunch more metal bands. Like, what?
Well, Tech Nine is the type of artist that gets booked at the gathering of the Juggalos.
Yeah. No. Well, his label is under Strange Music, and that's headed by whatever the hell band that is, the Juggalo band.
Yeah, Insane Clown Posse.
Yeah.
Man, like
The Juggalo band. Oh boy.
So, where do the two of you see yourselves going with your music? What's the 2-year plan or 5-year plan?
I guess what I really want to do is keep doing live shows and become a better performer. I think something that can really make us stand out to like record labels or whoever is just like being a really good performer and being able to connect with people like face to face. I think that's something that can really set you apart, especially these days with like everybody and their mom's like a SoundCloud rapper and everybody has their own song out, I feel like. So yeah, that's what I really want to do. And I'm kind of always just like focusing on the next song. I'm not trying to look too far in the future.
What about you, Paul? I mean, do you have any goals yourself that you want to?
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with Eric. Like performing and like being comfortable, like doing live shows and not just getting like nervous or like being able to like.
That's still a thing.
Oh, dude, if you're not getting nervous, there's a problem.
you're doing it wrong.
Just trust me.
Yeah, I've watched interviews with guys that have been in music.
But we kind of like got used to it, I guess.
Yeah.
Like perform,
Oh,
like playing at church and stuff like that, like leading worship or whatnot.
yeah.
And so I don't think it should be a problem. But we would still want to be able to like have like a really good standard and like perform like in a good
sure.
level.
It's different
So,
when you
and
want to
also,
like.
do tours and stuff.
Oh.
What?
Sorry, bro. Oh, I was gonna say it's different when you want to like run and jump around and really get everyone excited.
yeah.
And put on like
It
a
totally
performance
is.
versus just standing and singing on a stage. But yeah, that's
totally
what we want to
is.
learn how
Like,
to do.
And I've watched interviews with musicians that have been on the market for 20, 30 years, and they have like the behind the scenes, and I mean, they're still nervous going on stage. Like, you've done this 1,000 times. Why is it so bad? And then
Yeah.
going back, I played in band in high school and stuff like that, but yeah, you still get the jitters.
The fear is good though. Like if you don't have that like little bit of fear before you go and do anything live, like
That's true.
I mean, even doing this, I'm usually nervous on the drive over here because this is the 4th one we've recorded today, Casey and I. So it's worn off now a little bit. But seriously, every time I'm on the way over here, it's like it's either between a 15 or a 35-minute drive, depending on where I'm coming from. And yeah, I'm always like, and I play a lot of shows in a couple metal bands too, so same thing. But once it gets rolling, you're like, here we go.
Yeah.
Hey, any more music coming down the pipeline that old songs that you've kind of put on the shelf that you plan on releasing in the near foreseeable future?
Old ones, no. I got probably like 100 to 150 that are just like really bad on my computer. Those are probably gonna stay there. But no, we got some new stuff we're working on. Just trying to get better production and like better beats and stuff. And I think we're gonna try to release a single in the next couple of months.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, as far as mentioning the beats, do you put all that yourself together yourself, or do you
Yeah.
go online and where are you pulling your inspiration from? Because for me, like, I can perform really well if you give me a sheet of music and give me 6 months to practice. You ask me to write a song, that's not going to happen ever.
Yeah, I guess the inspiration to write just comes from what we listen to. When you want to write a melody, whatever comes to your mind is definitely something you've heard before. You just don't really know where it's come from. So you just try to make it unique to that. But yeah. What was the first part of your question? Oh yeah, we do everything from scratch. I think that was what you're asking.
If you're not watching, Gordon couldn't remember.
Yeah, the hamster got its foot stuck on the wheel there for a second.
Yeah. Every sound that you hear in our songs is completely done from scratch. It's been a key on a keyboard making that weird sound that you're hearing. Everything. Yeah.
Very cool.
Do you ever find yourself re-listening to a song after you record it and go, "Oh shoot, we sound too much like this other artist out there," or do you try to keep it more original?
Oh, we always try to keep it original. That's kind of funny though, because I've started writing a song and then shown it to Alex or Paul, and then to find out that it's literally it sounds exactly the same as another song out, and then you have to change it. So you kind of gotta get other people's opinion before you actually release it. But
yeah, don't Greta Van Fleet that shit, man. I'm just kidding. Or what was the original one that tried to rip off Led Zeppelin all the time was Heart, right?
Was it? Well, I only 50 Cent used Cashmere, and then there's the whole what's his name, Ice, Vanilla Ice copying Queen, but saying that no, it's original. No, it's not, bud. Sorry.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest one of all time. It's Vanilla Ice one.
And where'd my computer go? Why is it doing stupid things?
I don't know, man. It's still sitting there.
So you were saying you were going to release, you were thinking about releasing a single. So
Yeah.
the music industry being what it is today, I mean, the way you know it is that, that's the way to go. Release a single, get it out there. I mean, it's not like, hey, we're releasing a long play thing anymore, or, I mean, where you at with that kind of stuff?
I think my thing is right now, since there's so many artists putting stuff out, I think right now it might be quantity over quality. I think you want to keep putting stuff out as much as you can so you can keep gaining more and more of a following.
Okay.
But if someone is going to record a full-length album, I'm going to have like a lot more respect for them at the same time, but I might look at the album one day and then not look at it the next day. If they're not putting stuff out, I'm not going to keep going back to them, I guess.
Got it. That makes sense.
I guess there's two sides to it, but
Oh, certainly. Yeah, I mean, it's so very, are you new? Just kidding.
Yeah. Way to pull a Brian.
Yeah, I got myself tangled in my headphones and bonked the mic. I probably heard that.
Real professional studio.
happens.
Yeah. I know Paul's like, I'm super impressed with these guys. Anyway, no, that's a good answer. Yeah, it's tough. It's a totally different universe.
It is.
You know, I got they do that. Did you say Bandcamp was the one that you don't do?
I don't do that one.
Got her. So on Bandcamp, there was a band. You know, what they do is they're like, here's a T-shirt, and you get the digital download, and then a physical copy of the CD, and then you have to donate. It's like donate is I think how they can run this site or whatever. But I sent $20, and I got a shirt, and I got the CD and like a pin and some stickers and things, and now I have this CD, and I don't have any way to play it. So the CD player's broken in my car, and then I think I could use it on my work PC, but at this point, I'm like, I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
To work to listen to.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, are you gonna make CDs? You're gonna release a orange psychedelic vinyl?
I definitely want to release CDs. I think there's something cool about just like holding that in your hand, and it's a lot more memorable and impactful. Like if you hand someone a CD, they're gonna look at that, and I think it's gonna stick in their brain a lot more versus if they're scrolling through a web page and they just see an ad So yeah, I still want to make CDs, but I think the majority of our streams and listens are going to come from online distribution stuff.
I mean, are you following the social media analytics, or you said you have SoundCloud, and what was the platform that you said you put all your music on? They kind of take the legwork for you.
DistroKid, yeah.
Do they tell you, you're getting views and downloads from here, there, and the other place, or how much attention do you follow, or do you put into that?
Yeah. Well, when I released the Let's Talk EP, that's the very first time I used DistroKid, so I'm still kind of learning. But yeah, you can keep track of all of your streams on all of your different platforms and stuff, and you can even customize your different platforms with each picture you want on Spotify. You can customize all that stuff too, so it's pretty nice. Yeah.
And what's your advertising look like from that? I mean, is it strictly online, or do you pay for any advertising at all?
Right now I've only paid for a couple Facebook ads and Instagram ads, and I don't really know if those have done like a ton of good yet, to be honest. So.
And that was my biggest frustration, and the reason, the catalyst for me doing this podcast is because that's kind of the hookup that I came into.
Oh, sure.
Is, you threw $1,000 at Facebook and 10 people saw it, and one person went and bought a T-shirt for $12. Oh, great, thank you.
But honestly, that brings up kind of a good question, and Brian, maybe you can kind of weigh on this too. Where does your growth come from? Is it organic, like people who see your shows and talk to their friends, and is that the majority of where you're seeing your growth, or is it people who stumble upon you online?
100%, I think it's through word of mouth, family and friends right now.
Okay.
We have a couple different strategies for like getting more attention on Facebook, and it's basically we ask our friends to invite their friends to listen to our music.
So kind of like a call to action.
We like purposely tell them like, hey, we want to invite you to be a part of like our team, basically. Can you send an invite to your friends to look at our page and check out our music? But it's really cool because if each of your friends has like 800 friends, you can reach out to a few of them, and then that's like 3,200 people. And I mean, they could reach out to a friend, and we kind of just started doing that in the last month, and that's worked pretty good. We got a few hundred more followers on Facebook just in the last couple of months from doing that. So that's worked really well. That's probably been the best strategy we've done so far.
And you're talking off air. You just played a show this morning. How are any venues approaching you? It's like, hey, we'd like you to come play in the near future. Or are you still doing the legwork? Saying, hey, I want to play here today.
Yeah, I'm pretty much doing the legwork. No one's reaching out to us, but it's mostly like if I know someone that works here or know someone else that's at this venue, that's how like I can get there. So
bypass
that's what it's been.
The proverbial gatekeepers.
Yeah, it's kind of just about who you know right now.
Paul, are you doing anything on your side of things aside from sitting down the hallway and not helping Eric record?
Well, I kind of like help with the social media and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
So right now that's been like the only thing I'm doing, I guess. So not a whole lot, but since I'm like way across the country.
He's kind of my emotional support through the whole thing. If I write a song, he's the first person I go to. Do you think this is cool? And he really helps me through it and helps me write all the chord progressions on guitar and all that stuff through the writing process.
Yeah. That too, I guess.
Yeah.
Are you tab readers, or can you read the music?
I
can read the music, not super well.
Did you just ask him if he was literate? Like, is that?
Well, that's the thing. Because I can read. Well, I could read bass clef. I don't know if I could still do it today, but when I tried to dabble in guitar for a little bit in middle school and high school, and people just kind of, here's a music book and hand it. It's all in treble clef. I go, what the hell is this Egyptian?
Yeah. No, I can read a little music, but I still think tabs are probably one of the greatest things ever created.
It
They're so
definitely
nice.
helps.
Yeah.
It's interesting though. Sometimes someone's interpretation's
Yeah.
different than others, but once you get down to it and start playing it, you can play it how you want to play it.
Definitely. I remember looking up Weezer and Metallica and AC/DC on
Oh, yeah.
tabs. Like the very first songs that I learned were those bands. So
I
yeah.
still use tabs all the time. There's a couple of good apps for cell phones.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
What are those apps? Don't leave people hanging, man.
guitar tab.
Okay, well, now we know.
Ultimate guitar tab.
Right.
Yeah.
Besides guitar, I mean, what else? What other instruments are you playing for the connection?
Piano. I guess you could just say guitar and keyboard, because we're doing a lot of synth stuff recently on the keyboard. So you're gonna hear a lot of different sounds. You're gonna hear like bass.
Box.
Yeah, lots of different
What'd you say,
stuff
Paul?
with the keyboard.
The box.
Box drum.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of cool drum sounds on the keyboard.
Right, so
too.
your
we have a little drum
keyboard's
pad and
yeah, your drum mod. Okay.
yeah.
What about you, Paul? What other instruments do you play?
I play a little bit of piano. Like I said, I play the drums and the guitar. Yeah, those are the only three that I'm like mainly doing. So.
And who do you guys bounce back and forth on vocals then, or is it strictly? I recognize your voice.
Yeah, so far strictly me.
Yeah.
Oh, so far. Oh, Paul, you practicing, bro?
I'm always trying to get him to.
Come on, man.
I'm always trying to get him to write a song. And,
Come on, player. Write a song.
Just hide a microphone in his car. He won't know it's there. Why is this? Sorry, all my questions are now scattered across.
Why do you
different
have it on a
pages.
computer now? You had a pad of paper, I think, last time, didn't you?
Yeah, but this way I can, while I'm doing work stuff, I can actually prep and remember to write things down.
Yeah, well, your pad of paper.
His
is-
computer
Turning
works
over
like
a
this
new leaf in 2019.
Fair enough.
by using a pad of paper.
You could back up your computer by writing it on paper.
Like, let's leave the technology to
Man.
this side of the table.
Yeah. Now, do you have any advice for anybody else that's, kind of, maybe they're just kind of doodling, on a guitar or piano at home and they think they might want to start recording? And
if you want to start recording, I think honestly, just like logically, the best advice I can give is like you got to look up a software how to record, and then you just got to do it. And I think some really good advice would be you just got to put your music out online. Like when you first record a song, when you first write a song, you're gonna be like a little nervous about showing it to people for sure. You're right.
That's for real tough because
So-
how many times have you written the lyrics and you're like, man, these are great and they're right from my
Yeah.
heart and everything, and then like a day goes by or something, you look and you're like, this is so dumb
Yes.
and dorky and dumb, and I never
And corny.
completely delete or cross out. I'll strike through, and I don't know how many times I've gone back and removed the strike through on it and been like, okay, now I'm back in that mood. Now it makes sense. Now I'm getting goosebumps again. Let's just roll
Yeah.
with this.
Yeah.
It's tough.
So the advice I would really give is don't be afraid to just start writing, and don't be afraid to show people either.
Yeah.
I think you got to go into it knowing that not everyone's gonna like you. There's gonna be a lot of people that don't like your stuff, and that's okay. You just gotta keep going.
do you ever come across any of that, the keyboard warriors, if you will, on Facebook or YouTube?
Not yet. we're relatively small still. We have some people chime in that are like, that was pretty good, but I would have done it this way. You know what I mean?
the
We don't
would
have
haves.
any big haters
That's
yet.
my
but
favorite.
I'm sure they're coming.
I call that it's a case of the you shoulds.
Yeah.
So, it's like, you should do this or that. And then it's like, well, I'll
The
tell
song's
you.
already out.
I'll tell you what. Yeah.
It's not changing.
It's already done. It's pressed into vinyl. It's not
Yeah,
changing.
I mean, there's a reason why I didn't go that route. Or there's probably a good reason why I didn't go that route. And yeah, I probably thought of that already. So
Yeah.
why don't you go write your song?
Yeah.
Paul, do you have any advice that you would give from your side of the side of the table or the
Yeah, I
glass,
would probably
screen?
say like put your music out there and do what you got to do, and then show it to people around so they give you like tell you if it's like tell their opinion, like if they like it or not, and
Yeah.
then maybe you could change it or not.
Probably
Just
show
like
it to
there
close
was one
friends
song
and family.
Eric wrote, he like recorded it, and then he showed it to me, and if he did not show it to me, he would have been like, oh, we like literally copied this one song. Well, it's not totally, but like it sounded like the other song. So I would say when you record it or whatever, just show it to people or family and just get their opinion and see like try to get the people that are closer to you, and then try to reach out to people that are not like your close friends, but like other friends that would actually critique your music and stuff. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, just do it, basically.
Any of the
Yeah.
music intellectual type approach you like? Well, it'd sound better in this key versus doing that, or do you just kind of get the general you shoulds out there?
You can kind of like go into like a never-ending discussion of like, oh, I can make this a little bit better. This effect sounds a little bit better. I wish I had this pedal for my guitar. So most of the time, I just try to find something that I think sounds cool, and I just stick with it. And when someone else listens to it, they might be a really, they might know their music production really well, so they'll want to get everything perfect. But I guess that's not me right now. Yeah, it'd be cool one day if we had a producer that was really into all that, and they could kind of help us out with that type of stuff. But for me, I'm just trying to make the coolest song I can, and I'm not like super worried about each effect or the quality of each sound. If it sounds cool, then I like it.
See here, my producer just sits across the table and yells at me all the time.
That's what producers supposed to do.
Yeah, you need him.
Hey, now, being new and just starting off, you said a few years ago. I mean, has it been a huge or even financial burden? As far as the equipment that you've, a guitar I know can be costly for a decent one. But like the recording equipment that you're using, microphones, anything else. I mean, do you subscribe to the program that you're using to get your music out there? I mean, what's that been like for you?
No, I got Logic from a buddy. The microphone that I use, my dad got it for me for Christmas when I was like a freshman in high school.
SM58.
No. It's a Blue Spark digital microphone. Just goes right into the computer.
If it works, it works.
So easy. Yeah. Yeah, you said it. If it works, it works. It's not expensive to get into music, I don't think, especially these days. If you want to sound like the guys on the radio, you're probably going to need to get signed, and you're probably going to need a professional recording studio. But if you want to get really close, it costs barely anything. Honestly.
Is there one piece of kit that you've gotten that has kind of changed how you do things or made things a lot easier, or?
Yeah, a keyboard with aftertouch. Aftertouch means if you press the key hard, it's going to be louder. If you press it gently, it's going to be softer. You need to have like that, so it sounds like a real thing, real instrument. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We have one of those keyboards that definitely improved our sound, and then just a microphone in general. You don't want to be like singing into your computer's microphone. Just like a real microphone. It costs like $100 or $100 to $200 for a decent one. It's not too bad.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I bought a new microphone, and then I got yelled at by a certain producer for
Jordan,
trying to use it.
We will not go into that. You pulled the XLR end off of the cable. Like, you're a monster.
Paul, has this been a financial commitment for you, or do you kind of, have you guys been pulling it together? Or?
Well, it's just mostly been Eric. So.
I want Paul's job.
Paul, what do you do, and how do I find a job
I
like
also
yours?
use it for like church and stuff, and I also bought some stuff for. There's like this little thing that you could use for to plug in your guitar into GarageBand and stuff, so that you don't necessarily need like an amp to connect it to GarageBand and record the guitar. So there's like this little thing that's like $30, and then you need some cables and stuff like that. Those are some things that I bought. So
Yeah, little things along the way. We're not like keeping track, like
Oh yeah.
yeah.
like you owe me $30 for this mic that I bought for us. No.
And you have a fairly simple, for lack of a better word, recording process. I mean, when you do a show live, what's the setup look like for that?
Live, we're just doing acoustic stuff so far. So we got a box drum, acoustic guitar, keyboard, and then
Yeah.
of course microphones for vocals. And that works really good so
You
far.
want to kind of describe what a box drum is for people? It's kind of a neat
Sure.
deal.
It's literally, imagine a box made of wood, and you sit on top of it, and then you lean over with your hands between your legs, and you hit the box in the right spot. If you hit it in one spot, it's going to sound like a big bass drum. If you hit it in the top corner spot, it's going to sound like a snare drum. And it's really cool.
Oh wow.
I don't think I've ever actually seen one of those.
Yeah, they make a bunch of different variations
Yeah.
on them.
Yeah, I was thinking, I've seen and heard those electric kick drums.
the name
just a pedal before. That's what I was kinda
Cajon
picturing.
comes to mind, though.
Yeah.
I think was that
It's
was
just
that
the
a
same
yeah?
thing.
Oh, okay, yeah, cool.
Yep.
You mentioned playing at a church before, churches. Now, if you're somewhere that has the equipment that you could set up, I mean, is it easy enough for you to piggyback off of that, or is it just let's just keep it simple?
He wants to know what you need to rock.
Sure. I think all we need is what do we need? We just need a keyboard, and we need a place to plug in our MacBook. I think that's all we need, honestly. If we have a big sound system, obviously it's going to be a lot more rocking versus just like one monitor and a couple speakers. We're kind of sticking with acoustic stuff,
No flashing lights or strobes or
Right.
anything yet.
No, nothing.
You guys
yet.
got a smoke machine yet?
You guys got to have a fog machine, man.
I was just at a show last Friday, and the band just got brand new light set up and everything like that. And the lead singer's like, "This is awesome! I had no idea what this does until I bought it, and this is our first time using it. It was like a kid in a candy shop."
What does this button
Yeah.
do?
And I have lost half of my question, so that's okay. Because computers are great. I'm going back to pad and paper.
Classic Gordon.
Gordon's like, I don't understand. When it asked me if I wanted to save, I said no.
No, I hit
Like-
a button. Something disappeared. What is going on here? Casey asked a question.
Gonna have to go off the dome.
Oh man, I wasn't paying attention. No, so what are some of the biggest challenges, like with Paul, with you being literally the other side of the world? Like how is collaboration working? Do you guys do regular FaceTime sessions? Do you have something set up online or?
Yeah, we do FaceTime sessions, and we have what is it? The Google Drive.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
if we like a certain sound, we'll just like drag it into Google Drive. Or if we like lyrics or different songs, we can just drop them in there. What else? Remember,
I
Paul's
would
like.
say
Oh, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say like time, and like sometimes it would just be like me going to sleep and then he's waking up, or like I'm waking up and he's just going to bed, and like it would be like we would just like forget to like see our phones and like not reply on time and stuff like that.
Yeah,
That's like
it's
one
not
of the biggest
easy.
challenges.
Is there any unique things that have come out of this? Like we've been talking about the challenges, but has there been a benefit? Like, is there something that never would have happened for you guys if you didn't have this separation?
I don't know. I can think of something. I already said before, like whenever I make a song, I go to Paul and like, what do you think? I can't like do that all the time now. So now I'm doing live shows and stuff by myself, and I'm used to having like my buddy there. You know what I mean? It's easier to do stuff when you're on a team, when you're with a band, but when you're just by yourself, you got to step out and do it. So I think it's actually helping me grow a little bit and helping me step out of my comfort zone a little bit. So that's one good thing.
Okay.
I can't wait for him to come back though, so we can do more stuff.
Yeah, no,
do
Paul,
shows together.
When is Paul coming back? What's your plan, bud?
I'm coming back in May.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's got one more semester at Northwestern still to go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Plan on moving to the U.S. permanently for this afterwards, or are you gonna do the?
That would be cool if it was for the band.
And worst case scenario, I mean, what are you gonna start up the connection part 2? Oh, via India.
Like a tour in India.
I mean,
Start your own band over there, or
Oh, my own band.
Yeah.
Well, right
Worst case
now,
scenario.
I'm like working with my cousin because he's writing a song and he wanted me to be part of it, I guess. So I'm like working with him. So I'm like featuring in his song, and so actually we're gonna be recording that song tonight. So we'll see how that goes. But it's not Connection Part 2. It's just different. So it's just family. So.
Sure.
Do you at least like this cousin?
Of course I do. That would be bad if I did not.
Now, if the two of you could go back and change one thing, I mean, being able to look back in hindsight, about the band, the recording, or the advertising, I mean, is there anything that you would change, or like if you could talk to your younger self, like, do not do this?
or even do this sooner.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. I don't think there's anything I would be like, you definitely shouldn't have done that, but do this sooner. Probably the online distribution, and probably starting all of the online mediums like Instagram and Facebook. Like, if you want to compete and get streams, you gotta start those things right away, and you gotta start growing them. So that's probably the biggest thing.
And do you see for a podcast? I've noticed the best luck, posting something every day. I mean, do you find that if you're I guess, is there some sort of consistency that you found that works best for attracting new listeners to your music, or we're putting out an EP, so we're just kind of doing what we do?
So far, we're doing what we do. Honestly, so far, if I could finish a song every week, that would be awesome, and I'd probably do it, but I can't. So far, I'm just trying to finish the songs as soon as I can, and then group them together in a way where they can be an EP, like they actually make sense together, and then I'll release them. But releasing a song every day would probably get like really tiring for your fans too.
Yeah.
And they'd probably miss a couple days and just.
Do you share like behind the scenes information and stuff on your social media, or?
A little bit so far. Yeah, we on our Instagram. I mean, we have pictures of when we were recording and stuff, and that's been really fun to do. I think there's a way like you can connect a lot more with people through Instagram and Facebook, and you can be a lot more personal versus them like just hearing your music and they don't know anything about you. So I think that's a really important marketing tool, I guess, is being personal and showing like behind the scenes stuff on those mediums.
And do you, when you're putting something together, do you try to write your songs in order, or do you just kind of write your songs and then figure out in what, here's 1, 2, 3, 4?
For me, each song is its own thing. If I have a certain idea for one song, I just want to make that song the best song I've ever written. And then when you're putting them together for an EP, you want them to sound like good one after another, but I think you also want them to come together and form some sort of bigger message, like all of them together on an EP. You don't just want like an EP with 4 random songs about completely different things and completely different sounds.
Right.
I think that kind of catches people off guard, and kind of they might like one song and then they might completely ignore the others if they don't flow well together.
I'm going to ask a really stupid question. What does EP stand for? I've seen it thrown around.
Extended play.
Extended play.
Extended play, okay.
It's basically an album, like a short length album.
I've seen that thrown around for years and years and years, and I've never actually bothered to look it up.
EP, LP,
Yeah.
long
Yep.
play. Or so your single, EP, LP.
Yeah.
Sure. Again, I can prefer music. I can't make it. That's not an option for me.
So when you're putting together an EP, do you like you say that you're working on like crafting like the story, like because everyone knows like listening to an album start to finish is the right way to do it, right?
Yeah.
But for the like, everybody shuffles now. You just you bring it up and you hit shuffle. Do you try to keep that into account too, like how things are gonna play, just kind of randomly thrown together, or
Yeah. Like kind of what I was saying. Like when I'm making one song, I want that song to catch your attention right away, no matter which one it is. I mean, you're gonna have like a slow song on your EP, and you're probably gonna have a fast one. People are gonna listen to the fast one and be like, "Wow!" But you probably got to put something in the slow song as well to attract their attention. So each and every single song that you're doing, you gotta put some kind of attention grabbing thing in it, because it could be popping up on Pandora for someone, and you gotta grab their attention. I've also heard someone say that within the first 7 seconds of a song, someone will decide if they like it or not. So
I can see that. I've
Yeah.
skipped on shit like.
yeah, for sure. So you really got to put something attention grabbing in each and every song.
Do you try, when you're writing a song, do you try to write it start to finish, or have there been times where something comes to your mind and it ends up being the middle of the song?
Yeah, it's all over the place. I think most of the time I come up with more of like a message of a song first. Like I want to write a song about being in love, just for example. So I'm going to write the chorus first, and it's going to be all about how I fell in love or whatever. And then I'm going to write a verse about kind of like the story leading up to how I met Alex. And then the chorus will be about how great it is. You know what I mean? So, but it's different for every song, actually. Whatever comes to your mind, just got to write it down and then flow with it.
Do you ever find yourself in the middle of, just walking, or you're sitting down to breakfast, something like that, and all of a sudden something pops up? I mean, do you reach for pen and paper, start scribbling?
Yeah, I just reach for my phone in the notes section, and then I try to jot it down. And we have we all have a recorder on our phone too, on our iPhones. And if I think of something, I'll just like quick sing it into my phone. If I'm at work, go to the bathroom, sing a little verse in there and save it so I don't forget it. But yeah, it happens all the time.
And how many times do you find yourself, like as a history major, and so I would always write a rough draft and then a second rough draft, and then start to finalize it. I mean, do you find yourself doing that with songs? I mean, rough sketch, and then find how much fine tuning do you typically spend on a song?
A ton. From when you first think of the idea of it to when you're actually like singing it in the microphone, it's pretty much changing the entire time for me. Once I get it like a certain way, I really like it, it's generally going to stay the same. But even when I record it and I'm thinking, I might want to change this line a little bit, then I'll do it.
You ever listen to some of your old songs and go, I really like this part about it, but I want to tweak this for down the road?
For sure. Mostly with production stuff, because I've gotten to learn a lot more about how to record and different effects and EQ and all that. So when I listen to the old stuff, I still think it's pretty good. I put a lot into my songs and try to make them perfect, but as far as like quality wise, I can cringe a little bit on my old stuff.
Paul, have you ever just listened to a song that Eric sent you and told him to throw it out the window because it's so bad?
He really doesn't want to answer that.
Paul, you're safe. You're in India. He'll forget by the time you get back.
I don't think so, but there's like times when I was like, maybe we should change a little bit, or like maybe we should add more to it or something like that. But it's not like we should throw it away.
This is why he's my go-to guy. It's always positive news usually. Already put some positive spin on it, and yeah, that's nice.
Ever release anything and then, a day or two later, gone back and listened to it like, oh, shoot, I should have done this with it?
Yeah, and then I just like try to completely tune those thoughts out of my head and forget about them because it's over,
Yeah.
Is there anything you two would like? I mean, I've kind of spent everything that I had. I mean, are there any parting words of wisdom and advice that you two would pass on to anybody kind of in their up and coming, or any new bands out there that are kind of in the same position that you're in?
Stuff that we already went over. I think get on social media as quickly as possible and start growing that for sure. And then as far as recording goes, kind of like we said earlier, like just do it. You got to make yourself do it. It's not going to be easy. It's going to take some time, but you just got to set it aside and do it if you really want to do it. And if it doesn't happen, then it's not meant to be.
Paul, any words from you?
I would say like don't be shy to tell about your band or just like your solo artist. Don't be afraid to tell about it because no one else is gonna promote you if you're not gonna do it for yourself and like get yourself out there. Especially when social media is growing so fast these days, just put yourself out there on social media and try to like tell people about it online. So
you might be out there like thinking you have a great talent, and you could, but half of it is just promotion and getting it out there. Someone's not gonna email you and say they want to give you a record deal like that, even though that'd be really nice. It's never happened before. It's not gonna happen with you. So you gotta do the work.
Well, thank you, Eric, for coming in studio. Paul, thanks for getting up at the crack of dawn for you over halfway across the world. I appreciate it. And thank you for everyone listening this week. Thank you again to Blind Ninja Studios and Duck Hill Workshop for making this episode possible. You can find info about this show and others by going on to blindninjastudios.com. You can find them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as well. And you please go and follow me on Facebook and Instagram, and I finally broke down, made a Twitter, all built in the arena. Thanks again, folks, for listening. And if you tune in this Sunday, February 24th, we'll be sitting down with Bikers Against Child Abuse. Thanks again, and we'll catch you next time.